Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 107. Flawless start as always.
Of
If you
course.
guys have seen the podcast go live, you're missing out. Here's good times.
Why is this showing? What the hell is that?
What is that? Your stream chat.
Okay.
Oh man.
Neat.
So yeah, we had the start of season 21
Yeah.
was Friday,
True.
and we did some fun things, man. We grouped up, we leveled up together.
We did do that.
I think we had a pretty good start to this season. Once we
Yeah.
got our characters in and created them,
It wasn't bad.
it wasn't too bad. It took us 20 minutes to get our characters made and actually start leveling. I believe it was 720 or it worked.
Yeah. It was wasn't great. Because we got like everyone had server issues for like the first 10 to 30 minutes. So it took us a while to create our characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird. I had to log out and log back in and sit in queue and good stuff. It was good.
Yeah.
Leveling went okay. I think we ditched, so we ended up leveling the majority by rifting. And then towards the end, we started off, we were going to do the cursed chest method. And it took us so long to get our characters made. I think it put like a sense of urgency in us. And then so after not getting a couple cursed chests in a row, we were like, oh, screw this, man. Let's just go rift. And
Right.
so we abandoned ship. And we jumped back to the cursed chest in the mid 50s, and it went really fast. I think we should have stuck the cursed chest out, but we know that for next time.
Right.
But we still did it pretty quick. It was a little,
Yeah.
hour and 20-ish, maybe a little less.
Yeah, which I can confirm Cursed Chest leveling is pretty nutty.
Yeah, it was pretty fast. So next season, definitely stick it out a little longer. And
Right.
I think we can get it under an hour would be.
We just
ideal.
like did the thing and we didn't get it like twice in a row. So we're like, nope, gotta go.
Yeah, it was like you put the 20-minute, like it was already 720, and then we loaded in like 2 or 3 times. And
we just wanted to play, really.
And it was like, if by then it's like 730, 735, and we're like still like level 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is not going down, man. Let's just riff. So it was just like a panic mode kicked in. But it was cool. We ended up getting 800 Paragon on the first night.
Yeah.
Where I stopped at.
Yeah, what a casual.
Yeah, that's not too bad for the first night, man. Then I didn't get to play the second day at all. 0. Didn't even log in on the 4th of July. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. But, what are you thinking so far? So season, 21 has begun. You're playing a DH.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts so far?
It's fun. It's everybody seems to love the DH set, and I think it's a good set. I think it's a fun set. I still would make some changes to it mechanically. I think it's kind of awkward throwing in those primary clicks every 1.5 seconds or second or so to keep your 20 stacks up. It doesn't feel super great, but it's a fun set. It's a really fun set. It's Whirlwind and it's Strafe. It's Whirlwind Strafe, which is kind of what I wanted, and I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's everybody seems to like it. It's very universal from T16 to Greater Rift Pushing to even the ZDH. Mainly uses the same pieces, so you really only have to juice up a couple extra items to make some big swaps, and the majority of your core pieces are the same, which is kind of cool because you can focus on augmenting and getting those juiced up.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that part of it. It's fun. It's something new to play. What about you? Like, how's the Necro stuff? Have you even played the new set on Necro?
Yeah.
Or did you just
actually? Again. We say it time and time again, like the new set, I mean, it's very lackluster for pushing leaderboards, but it actually makes a very strong speed farm build.
Really?
Much more tanky than basically anything the Necro has early game. And so
highly recommend that to get, like, if you I don't think it's a seasonal journey, it's in RESs. So
right. Next season, it'll be the go-to. The ice spear build. But yeah, it's I think
you just hit 70 and you got the set, your T16 farm it instantly.
Yep.
Or
literally instantly. So yeah, I think it's surprised people. I think a lot of people just heard like, oh, it sucks, like the new set sucks, because I mean, for pushing it does. And so they're like, oh, I'm not even gonna mess with that new set at Mega Lol. And then they see me or see the build guide and see how other people are like, yeah, this ice spear is insane. So super tanky. I think that's the big thing. Is like, obviously, probably all said and done, LOD mages is still probably gonna be the best for Necro, which kind of sucks, but it takes a while to build out an LOD, right? So getting a set and just putting it on is much faster.
Is it fun to play?
Yeah. I mean, it is like at its core, it's essentially just spawn your clones and spam spear. Yeah. That's really kind of all there is to it. Which people like. Obviously, people love the new DH set, and that's crazy, crazy simple. So
yeah, it's like right click. It's literally just right click.
I'd say it is. If you look at all of my builds, and you're like, "What's the easiest one?" Yeah, it's up there. So, yeah. And people like that. Cool. Some people like that playstyle. Yeah. Some people like to really try hard, like I do, and go crazy.
It's a difference from like Mundanugo's last season had a little bit of intricacy to it. It was it wasn't just one button and win.
But that's why Mundanugo was so good, is because like you're right, it was like kind of big brain to play at a high level, but you could just jump into it and it was like good enough. Even if you didn't know what you're doing, you could and that's why it was kind of so perfect in a way.
Yeah, and Mundanugo was really fun, and I honestly, man, that was like one of my favorite sets ever in Diablo's history. I feel like the 4-man metas on Mundanugo were a blast. That was some of the most fun I've had. That being said, like Witch Doctor is by far my least favorite character class. So it's kind of weird to say that.
Right.
But at the same time, man, the DH set is really fun this season too, and it's like the exact opposite. It's like it's about as simple as it gets.
Right.
So I think I kind of
the feedback I've heard has been kind of all over the place. Like, yeah, people seem to really like it. It's obviously DH is insanely popular this season. Like every streamer is playing DH. Everyone's playing a DH. Like the leaderboards for the DH are pretty crazy competitive right now.
Yeah, they're super crazy.
And but at the same time, like even from those high level players, it's like it's kind of boring. Like it's kind of like they've done it now that that honeymoon phase is kind of wearing off. It's like it's Whirlwind on Demonar.
Yeah, for the most part, it is. It's just Whirlwind. And I haven't played Whirlwind in a while. Like when was the last time I actually played Whirlwind? Legit, it was
Waste Buff wasn't that
Lod season or something. I don't know. Like I just haven't played.
Wasn't it Rourke?
Was it?
I think it's season.
Yeah, Rourke season. Yeah. Sorry, I meant Rourke season. It was Rourke season when we played it. It's nice to have a change up in the metas, and it's nice that Demon Hunter is universal enough where you can. It just feel that the speed may not be as efficient as rats. It may not be the most efficient, but it's an option. And you can mix and match quite a bit.
Yeah.
You can it got a Z Necro, two DHs, and a Z Barb. Cool. You got a ZDH, a regular DH, a Z Barb. Like you can just kind of play a lot of DHs and throw some support in, and it works. It just
yeah,
it's viable.
That's one of the biggest positives I will say about the season is that you have options, right? Like you can run two god. What I've been doing is like I can run 2 god DH. I can run 1 ZDH, 1 god DH. The problem is like no one really knows how to play ZDH yet because it's still like kind of new and it's in its infancy. So like finding it as a DH is hard.
It's not that hard though.
Yeah. But people just play it wrong. So like but yeah, and so like you can put 1 ZDH, you can put 1 god DH, you can put 2 god DH, you can put 1 ZNEC. You can do 2 god DH and 1 ZDPS. DH and a fucking Barb. Like it's cool that you have options, and so like it's nice. That is really nice. I will say that like to me it seems like the seasons that really take off, and I'm sure you can agree, at least at the start, and people are most hyped for are when the meta shifts. Like the last time I remember people really having a good time was when it was 2 Whirlwind Barbs and a Crusader, right? And a Z Barb. Like people were loving that season. So it definitely feels that same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
The only thing negative, of course, I'm sure, as you're about to touch on, is seasonal theme. People fucking hate this seasonal theme. I have not seen. I haven't seen anything positive being said about this.
Okay, so here's my beef with it. Like, all right, it's kill streak, but it's shit kill streak because you can't. It'll spawn and do no damage. It's in. When you're pushing, I can't seem to get a high enough kill streak to make it matter. at least I haven't really tried to manipulate it that hard, but I'm sitting there pushing, and then I'll see the screen darken or, whatever visual effect when you're like, "Oh, I'm about to get, rainbow spray, or I'm about to, get meteors or whatever."
Yeah.
And then I'll line it up and try to use it, and then I'm like, "It's not doing any damage." And then I'll look down and I'm like, "Oh, well, my kill streak's not high enough." You know?
Right.
So it's like, if I'm doing a lower rift where I get a 2, 3, 400 kill streak, that's cool. I don't need it then. And if I'm pushing and my kill streak's not 400, then what? What's it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It looks cool visually, kind of, but another problem I have is it clouds the screen up with so much fluff. Sorry for the,
What?
pun.
That
There's
sounds
so
like a
much
good
fluff.
thing.
There's so much fluff on the screen that you can't really see the things you need to see anyways.
Right.
It's like, oh, there might be an arcane beam in this mess of mobs, but I can't really tell. And by the way, I got rainbow shooting out of my body and other stuff on the screen, or like ice meteors or snowballs or whatever. So yeah, man, yeah, I'm conflicted because I really feel like some effort was put into it with the in-game assets that were available,
Yeah.
because you got to think, man, these seasonal themes are recycled assets that are already in the game. I
Yeah.
don't think they have development for brand new stuff. So I think that's a really good use of the assets. It's like, well, okay, well, we got this, we can put some damage, and we got this rainbow looking asset, let's shoot that out of your face and make damage out of it. Like, that's
Right.
a cool idea, but just in theory, it didn't go well.
Yeah. It does, like you said, it clutters the screen, but not just that, is it gives you like lag for no benefit, which really sucks.
Lag's been fucking crazy
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
Like, I spawned Stone Singer last night. I was doing a 115 Stone Singer spawns, and it was just like, it was so laggy. It was almost impossible. Like, I had minutes to kill him, and I got killed by his charge, and I'm not even like in front of him. Like, he would just charge and I would die, and I was off to the side. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. Switch rift levels and I'm fine. Go back down to his level, and it felt like I was running at 30 FPS with lag.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna get into that later too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people.
This season's been fun though. Like,
Yeah.
I tell people this all the time, and I think we've talked about it before, and you've probably hinted at this before too. Is Diablo's season is phenomenal for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. I've accepted the fact that I'm only going to be super into it for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what are we doing? We're doing the same thing we do every season.
Sure.
We're grinding greater rifts.
Yeah.
And maybe some bounties. And if you're a cosmetic collector, maybe you're going for wings or something.
Like
but for the most part, you're
right?
doing the same thing, right? You're just maybe you're using a different Simon Says of what buttons to press, but ultimately you're grinding greater rifts, you're leveling gems, you're augmenting gear. It's the exact same thing every single season. So if it lasts and keeps you into it for 2 or 3 weeks, cool. That's exactly what I expected to do. And then after that, start fading away, unless you're like absolute hardcore of the hard, like you want to push leaderboards. The only reason I could even see to grind the whole season is because you need the Paragon to push the leaderboard at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the amount of players that do that still, I mean, wow, it's a really small percentage. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that sentiment as well. It does suck for me, honestly.
But it's a fun 2 weeks. I'm not saying that's like bad. I'm just saying, like,
sure,
it is what it is.
For me, like, I honestly like couldn't really care less about the seasonal theme. For me, it's about like the obviously the changes, like the changes they made for the Necro, which goes to show you, right? Like, time and time again, people are like, well, what can they really change? Like, if they update this legendary, that's not really going to change the game. Well, that's not necessarily true, because they changed like Jesseth and Haunted Visions and Razzus, and it like blew up Necro build ideas for the Necro. Like, and the Necro got a new set, and it's like, okay, it's like one build. Like, so the other changes are like way more impactful than like adding a new set. So like, if Diablo wanted to, they could rebalance old legendaries and like totally mix up the game. And so hopefully, and we've touched on this as well when we were playing together, I think next season, although it's crazy early to mention next season, I think next season will be like a big indication of like what we can expect in the
Yeah, the
future,
future
right?
going forward. Yeah, I agree. And going like adding to that, or this it's every two or every season rebalance one class really good, maybe two. Like if you could squeeze two in, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah,
And by rebalance, I mean just change things.
sure.
Like literally just change things so we have new stuff to play. And then on every other class, maybe change an item. That would be impactful. Like if you
Yeah,
could change one item, that would change the way the game plays for that class a little bit. And then one or two classes, you change several legendaries or maybe a couple set bonuses and make them play differently. And then there's your season. And the next season you can do the same thing. And then you're constantly rotating and shifting the way you play the game. But ultimately, you're still going to be doing the same thing. You're still going to be doing greater rifts, still augmenting and pushing leaderboards if that's your thing. That doesn't change. So the first couple of weeks of, hey, this is new. Let's check it out. Cool, awesome. You know, we can have more of that. So,
yeah. But
but
let's take a look so far, right? So
okay,
DH we talked about is really competitive right now. Everyone is liking range whirlwind, apparently. So we're already at 132 with 1,789 Paragon. What?
yeah, those like those are gotta be some super crazy fishes because are just some kind of like I don't know, man. It just that seems like some crazy push to me
Yeah.
to stay alive. You know what I mean? Because even the 130, just the ability to stay alive in that is pretty crazy. So it makes me wonder if there's like a way to manipulate the seasonal theme going, or if they're just that good or fished that hard. Um, Obviously, fishing makes a huge difference.
Right.
Like I failed a couple 115s, and then I get a good rift, and it's like boom. You got 7 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it just depends. But damage intake for me, at least at 15, is pretty high. But I don't have as much Paragon. I'm only at 1,000 and no augments, and my gems are 100. You know what I
Well,
mean? So
to be fair, the season's been up for like 96 hours because we're 4 days in,
yeah,
right? And this
yeah.
guy has 93 hours of uptime, Blizzard.
Okay,
Actually, nope, he's at 95.
95. Okay,
Nice.
so 1 hour done. Cool.
Nice. Cool.
While the bot was getting updated. So yeah, like that's cool. Like I don't know. Like I would like to see some of the riffs and stuff that were fished on that, because that's a crazy clear. I mean, if it's a legit clear, that's a crazy impressive clear to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's crazy awesome. But yeah, it's super competitive, man. It's like, super competitive in
Yeah.
DH land.
Already at
So
already at 130 this early in the season. It'd be interesting to see like how this develops because that's pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I
So
don't think the Blizzard anticipated the Valas like overprocking, and that'll probably get addressed in the future. But it's
mhm,
crazy, man. It's crazy.
yeah. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Outside of that, we have Barb, which was at 126 already. That's pretty impressive too, to be honest. With Whirlwind, obviously that's going to go much higher.
I would say that, like the DH set feels like it's putting out more damage to me than it did in PTR 2, which is weird because on my PTR set, I got ancient items and I augmented some of them, and I had like 3,000 Paragon. And I feel like I'm doing more damage now with 1,000 Paragon, not augmented items and stuff. But I didn't see any changes in patch notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are we just playing it that much better from just having a couple more days with it? Or,
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. That's something that people ask me about. So like obviously these guys are super geared to the teeth. Honestly, like people are like, I can't get in the God DH runs. Like there's so many God DH. Like play a Barb and just tell the God DH to give you gear. Like there's so much need for a Z Barb this season.
Z-barbs. Yeah, man. I've literally carried people in my stream that rolled. I was like, if you will make a barb, I will power level you and carry you until you get it geared, and like have geared out a couple Z-barbs just so I had one. I'm
Right.
like, all right, now you're my Z-barb though. If I see you on and you're with somebody else, it's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I own you. Your soul is mine. No,
I
but
don't
it's
care for your
yeah.
group. You get out. Right.
Yep. Right. Z barbs are in demand like crazy right now. So
Yeah, that is crazy. Crusader, which will probably still maybe not be RGK because RGK might not be needed this season, but they would definitely be the highest single target still. Only at a 123 so far. Monk 122 with Paj. Okay, nice. And then your boy Necro. I've been saying rank 1 all season. I'll have to take these guys over tonight. Obviously, Poison Scythe. Poison Scythe's amazing. Very, very tanky. Yep. And then finally, Wizard 116 with LOD Hydra.
116.
But to put that in
bottom? Go to
the 81.
The bottom is like
right. An 81 clear to get in the top 1,000.
On Wizard, you're gonna get leaderboard, guys.
Yeah.
So everybody's on DH, man.
Nothing.
So it's funny. So like I think it was, I don't know, man. I don't know what day it was. It feels like the season's been going on for weeks and it's really only been like 3 or 4 days. But I did, I don't remember what the clear was, like a 113 or something, and at the time it was like a like rank 200 player. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. I did it in like 7 minutes. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can definitely push higher. I'm gonna go to bed.
Right.
And so I went to bed and I woke up, 6 hours later, and I checked the board, and I went from 200 to like 600. You know what I mean? In just a couple of hours. Like people are going mad nutty on DH right now. So it's cool, man. I haven't seen a board that competitive in a while. I feel like everybody's on DH right now.
Ooh, I just figured Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is Mundanugu 123.
What class was that?
Witch Doctor. That one that yeah.
Is that a new class? I never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh.
Your favorite
class?
Oh,
that's now. That one that they should have deleted out of the game, right?
Wow.
I'm just kidding, all you Witch Doctor fans. So
but you know what? We forgot the polls. So
the polls. Oh my god.
Last week we asked, what was your take on the Diablo 4 June update? Poggers, not looking good, in between. I'll let you guys vote one last time. What do you think won, and what do you vote, P?
Not looking good, absolutely won, because all of our viewers are big brain, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It has to be it.
Okay. Yeah. Not looking good. I'll vote as well. It's like 48% of the vote says in between.
In between.
34% says not looking good. And 17 says poggers.
Okay.
Poggers? Really?
I mean, in between.
I understand in between and not.
We don't have enough info yet. Yeah. So because we haven't gotten any new info in a minute. It was a cool update, like from like a interest level. I still give it that. But
yeah, it was a good art. It was a good read, like we said.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't have anything in it that we wanted. It's like getting another chapter to your favorite book, but like nothing happened in that chapter. Right. But it was still like you learned more about the characters or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then for next week, this is a discussion we had all week in my stream, was if you had to choose one way to loot, which do you prefer? So loot at any given moment, like from kills, treasure chests, clickables, like a rift in Diablo, or loot only at the end of an event, like killing a dungeon boss or like a greater rift in Diablo 3, for example. So that will be the poll. You have to pick one or the other. You can't say, well, I'd like a mix of... Nope. You got to pick.
Nope. Know what I would pick.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Next week.
And then you had on the schedule.
Yeah, man. I dug a little bit through some job openings just to see. So this one sparked me. I saw this on Reddit and I'm like, well, what else do they have? So we'll start with the first one. The first one is for a senior technical artist for characters. And I'm like, what do they mean? And so I read the description, and it looks like they were actually wanting like a rigging artist, like a technical, like animation, in-game animation character artist.
For Diablo 3?
For Diablo 3. It says Diablo 3. And I'm like, what is this? Why would they need a character artist unless they're going to add new animations, right?
Hmm.
I don't.
Or more
What world would
sets?
they need that?
More
You
sets?
know,
More items or something?
or yeah, but the sets would just. I mean, they already have the animations for all the classes, right? Like if a witch doctor casts a spell, they already have the hand movement. They just slap the asset on. Unless they're, I don't know, man. It's got to be new something. So either new characters, new animations, new something. So, um,
Hmm.
pretty interesting though for Diablo 3. I
Yeah.
wonder if that's like a miscategorization. Like, did they mean Diablo 4? Did they mean Immortal? Or are they just like hiding some stealth project we can't know about? Maybe it's for Diablo 2, but they don't want to throw it out there. I don't know,
Maybe
man.
it's literally just to give us like actual season rewards. You know what I
Like an
mean?
emote, like an
No,
emote
like so
system.
we get that same stupid set for like finishing the season journey.
Yeah, but that would just like, okay, so they added the new sets for all the new sets they put in. They added the new
Yeah, but
cosmetic
what
looks to
what
them.
if they actually added, new?
You think it takes a rigging artist to make those sets, or you think
Yeah,
it just takes like a asset artist? Like, here, draw some armor and it wraps around this model we already have.
I would think it would take it probably both.
I don't know, but it's got to be something new though, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't hired the guy yet, so it's not like this is going to be next season.
All
They're
right.
going to have to hire the guy, and they got to vet the guy. They got to teach him the systems, teach him how to work, and do all the stuff. So I would think that would take at least 6 to 9 months for him
Well,
to
I
start
mean,
churning out work.
Diablo 4 is years away, obviously.
It either way, it's a good thing though, man,
Yeah.
because they're spending money to hire somebody to do stuff on Diablo 3. That's cool. Like, it's
Hmm.
not retired, it's not shelved. Like, they're giving it at least you know a little money. So cool. Um, and then there were two more that I saw that I didn't really throw links in, but uh, there is a site reliability engineer for Diablo.
Okay.
Okay. So that makes me think websites. So something's going to get some traffic, or I'm thinking that's probably Immortal related, would be my guess.
Yeah.
But the third one, though, I was like, thank you. Senior software engineer server, classic games, Diablo.
3 again.
Yeah, Diablo 3. Yep.
Wow.
So it also listed other classic games in there, but it was listed under Diablo 3
See, and
as the
that's
main
a,
heading.
the exact position I would be overqualified for, but I would never be considered.
Right. I mean, apply to it. Give me all the
I
juice, the
would
inside info.
probably also take like a half salary cut.
Yeah. I mean, the stability, software engineer, server side. Let's go. Let's get some of this lag fixed. This is what I was saying we're going to touch on later. The lag's been in every season's a little worse, I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
it originally started with you're zoning into a level and then you would freeze for a long time. You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that kind of got fixed, I think. And then, but every season is a little worse where it's just like, man, in game. Like in game now, it's like I'm dropping, down to the 60 frames level from, you know, 300, and I go stand in town, couple hundred frames. I'm smoking greater riffs at speed, and it's like 60 or less. And it's not a juice issue. Like, I've even dropped the graphical settings in game just to see if it mattered, and it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Literally, the frames don't change. I
Yeah.
can have everything maxed out, and it's the same. I can drop everything to the lowest possible setting, and it's the same. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I hope they get that ironed out a little bit. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. It
That's one.
does
Yeah.
seem like the past few seasons. I don't know if it was because someone left, but like the deploying the PTR kind of failed a few seasons ago. Uh, we got kind of a late season, I think, a few seasons, like season start a few seasons ago.
Mhm.
It just seems like the performance side of things and like server side of things, it seems like maybe all of a sudden there's been a gap this past year. I don't know if that's because of
Yeah.
hole in the staff or
And if they're using the same hardware, like maybe the
yeah,
hardware is 10 years old. I mean, if Diablo 3 servers went up in
yeah,
12,
or
they're
maybe
using
it's because
8-year-old
they're using
hardware.
new hardware, but like the
Yeah.
programming's not utilizing it or
Doesn't,
something.
right. Exactly. So, yeah, let's throw it on this 40 core server blade, and then it's like it only utilizes one core,
Right.
so now you've lost speed
Right.
because you have slower single core performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So I hope that's cool, man. So the benefit that I got, like the thing that I took from these job postings, is that they're spending money to try to improve Diablo 3 still, which is good. We
Yep.
got a technical animator guy coming in, and hopefully a software server engineer to, get us some reliability, and site reliability engineer, all kinds of shit. So, that's
Yeah.
cool. Makes me
I
happy.
agree with that sentiment too. Is like it does show that, maybe Diablo 3 is not dead.
And they've hired a bunch. This kind of leads into something you had. They got a new CM. They're spending money on more Diablo things. So I know we're jumping around, but it's a good transition into it.
Sure. So if you guys don't know, been living on a rock, we got another CM. Filthy Rich has just joined the
Filthy Rich.
the team of community managers. It's a good name. I like it.
I do too. He's filthy rich now. He works for Blizz, right? Isn't that the way it goes?
Yeah, totally.
That Diablo money, man.
A few random facts about him, if you guys didn't get a chance to read this. He once got penalized in a fighting game tournament as a no-show / late, as I lost track of time playing Diablo 2 at an internet cafe. So, good for you. He played a CM wizard, that's critical mass, by the way, and Diablo 3 first came out, and my fingers still cramp from how hard I mashed my keyboard. Yep. Did Numlock even exist? Did we even know about Numlock yet? I don't know if we did.
Probably not.
3, I'm looking to juggle a few classes next season: Necro, DH, and Monk. Smart. He didn't say Witch Doctor like that Pez guy. Pez guy's like, Witch Doctor's my favorite. Terrible.
I don't even know when that patch is going to come, when they add that class to the game.
Yeah.
Could be cool though.
Luckily working on franchises such as Tekken, Soul Calibur, Killer Instinct, Dark Souls, and Pac-Man. So,
Dark Souls,
yeah. It's immediately what my brain saw as well.
Pac-Man's pretty pog.
Pac-Man, yeah.
My wife loves Pac-Man. I've actually played Pac-Man.
Really?
Still to this day, sometimes. Yeah. Huge Pac-Man fan.
Outside of video games, I love Muay Thai, hot yoga, mangoes, and potato chips. What an interesting list.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
A little hot yoga. You ever done hot yoga?
I have, actually.
That sounds horrible and miserable. Sweating and stretching.
Well, it was good, but it was just kind of we did it. Me and my ex-girlfriend did it like on a whim, and
that's how you guys met?
No.
Okay.
We did it on a whim, and we went to this kind of sketch studio that it just smelled like sweat, like sweaty sweat.
And you did it on a whim, and it was sweaty sweat.
And there's a dude, there were literally 2 guys in the class that were doing the hot yoga, in not whitey tighties, but that same style of underwear. It was just underwear, cotton underwear. It was
whitey tighties,
weird.
What is that's it. Yeah.
Not even compression, garment or anything like that. Just cotton.
Like loose flowing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweaty. You
see all the sweat dripping, no, it was,
Oh, man.
A lot of gas.
Sounds like an experience, dude.
Yeah, it was an experience.
Scarred for life, man. You still got those hot, sweaty yoga whitey tighties, and you burned in your retinas.
Yeah. I mean, I do still see the guy that was in front of me. It's I can't unsee it.
Really? You still dating him? Still seeing him?
Yep. Still do hot yoga every Thursday.
Wow.
Woo. But yeah.
Some things are just starting to line up now, man.
Yeah,
I'm starting to understand you a little bit better every day. That's cool,
welcome,
man.
Filthy Rich.
Welcome,
yeah.
Filthy Rich. Thanks for that segue into sweaty yoga.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Seems like he's got a good sense of humor too, so I hope to see more posts, right? So we can get to know him. And then this was interesting. So Julian Blairy, who is the person that, this is all speculation, of course, because we don't know who this guy is, but this is the guy that originally, quote unquote, leaked the Diablo 2 Resurrection leak. He came out because obviously, this week hit and we didn't get the announcement. Pez Radar shut that down last week.
His leak was wrong. Yeah.
He didn't say that it was coming out this summer. He just said they're working on it. So he actually didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, he wasn't the guy that said on the anniversary? That was a different dude?
Different dude.
Okay.
He was just like, they're working on it. It's called Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so he came out and basically said, they can still confirm that development is actually happening and that it will be announced later this year at what I found interesting is he says a digital Blizzard event, a special digital Blizzard event. So maybe we'll get like a mini BlizzCon or maybe it's just like Diablo 2, here you go.
They kicked that. They said no, man. They straight up were like, no BlizzCon.
Yeah.
We'll do something in 21.
But obviously the feedback has been like, what the fuck? Like, wasn't there gonna be a BlizzCon?
Right.
So maybe they are taking that, or it's just literally just going to be like, hey, here's a new game. And then they want to digitally broadcast it.
I would think it would make sense for them to have a BlizzCon still.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
So WoW's going to drop like right after normal BlizzCon time. So if normal BlizzCon is November 1st, right after Halloween, traditionally is when they do it, the first weekend in November. Rumors are that WoW is going to drop in the last week of November, the end of November. So that, I mean, dude, what more press do you want besides BlizzCon hyping up your expansion and then at the thing dropping like, WoW Shadowlands is out next week or whatever. And then you could also be like Diablo 2 and here, check out some more D4 gameplay trailer or demo or I don't know, man. It's weird to me that there's no Diablo or no BlizzCon.
Yeah. It is kind of, to me, it's kind of like it's kind of a missed opportunity. Like, what a perfect time to have done that. I'm sure it had something to do with Corona,
anyways.
Yeah. And so that does suck, but I'd rather have a good, good.
If they did a virtual BlizzCon and it was $40 for a ticket, you'd buy it.
Yeah, I would. I would hope that
no Diablo 4 beta access or like a demo. There's no demo for D4. It's just videos and people talking and showcases.
I might wait to catch it on YouTube. I don't know. It just depends. Honestly, like, I think one of the biggest misses of not having a BlizzCon this year, and you and I have talked about it, but it's not necessarily the announcements. It's not necessarily like the news. It's the interaction. It's the
100%.
Streamers get to ask, while they're playing Diablo 4, like Quinn got some great questions in last year, and that was stuff that was really interesting. It's having those conversations like you and I had where we could actually talk to D3 devs, D4 devs, and like go in that Q&A.
Just hanging out with people too, like your peers, your streamers, your streamer buddies, and the devs, and like that was so much. I won't say like D4 is pretty cool. It was pretty awesome to be able to hang out, like to experience D4, like you and I playing it for the first time together. Like, oh shit, Fluff, check this shit out. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. It's sad, man. It is sad there's no D4 this year. So
yeah.
Or D4. I keep saying D4 because that's all I cared about.
Right.
It's sad that there's no.
I mean, it is sad there's no D4. Like to not go back and play that demo again and see what progress they've made. That's sad. Yeah. But he goes on further, kind of like uncued as well, as he says that beta for Diablo Immortal should have been at the end of June, but he's confident that it will be on this month beta, so it'd be like a closed beta, so you'd have to be invited for iOS.
I think we're getting invites to that if it goes out.
I would hope. Why it would like be like, yo, Fluff, I got you.
I know, I would hope so too.
But he's a busy guy. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Kind of like total side tangent as well. Since he's just like the guy that did the D2 leak. So of course we don't know. I don't really know who this guy is. I just know that people listen to him. I don't know the legitimacy of any of this really.
Yeah. I don't even know who this guy is, but I'm cool. I'm sure, if somebody's got credible leaks, if you can look at their history and they've been on point with leaks, then you must know somebody. I read an interesting article earlier today that was one of Bungie's CEO guys, and I don't remember his title or what he did, but he was a pretty high up, and he was at Bungie from 2009 or 2008 to 2014, and he was part of one of the guys inside the merger with Activision, and in this, he basically got fired for what he claims is no reason, and then he ended up suing Bungie and Activision and winning the case and getting
Wow.
paid. So apparently he did get fired for no reason. But from what he said is he's like, it was like a drug deal the whole time. And Activision, the reason that Bungie went with Activision in the first place is because they were going to let them retain all the rights to their IP. Like Activision did not own it and they couldn't take it from them if they broke away, which they ended up doing.
Right.
But he says one of the things is he's like in the clauses it said that like they couldn't influence the IP. And he's like, that's total BS. He's like, they influenced the IP from day one because they had all the money. And he's like, so as soon as they start telling you what to do, and if you don't agree, you don't get the money, then they're influencing the IP. And if anybody starts saying, hey, you can't do that, then they got let go, a la me. And that's what he said happened to him. Is he was like, you can't come in here and tell us what to do with the game. And then they were like, we can't. Peace out, dude. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so it was interesting, man. It's out there. I don't remember the guy's name. I didn't know who he was, but it's a very interesting articles. There's a couple companies that reported on it. I saw it on IGN. So it's out there if you guys are interested in kind of just seeing what it is. But so to those of us, the reason I even bring it up is because obviously Activision owns Blizzard. And so for those of us, for like me, it makes me think, well, if we don't think Activision's influencing the way Blizzard designs their games, I think it's kind of naive, especially based off of what this guy says. He's like, if they have the money, then they have influence, you know?
Yeah,
so,
totally. That's crazy,
man. So they could totally be like, hey, Blizzard, you have to make Immortal. Or like, they can't say have to, but they could be like, we really want you to make a mobile game. And then they're like, okay, well, if we really have to make a mobile game, what are we going to do? What's our best IP? Let's do ARPG. Or if, hey, Blizzard, we want you to have microtransactions in D4. You know, that's things like that. Like I really feel like there will be microtransactions in D4.
Of course there will be. They've already said. They said at BlizzCon there will be.
What do they say? I don't remember anymore.
They said that there will be microtransactions. There won't be anything pay to win. Like they drove that home several times.
Did they say the microtransaction thing? I thought they were still under the mindset of like, we think our $60 title will sustain itself.
Oh, it's going to be pay to play. They made that very clear as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pay to play with microtransactions.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so one of the rumors that's kind of been sparking around because of these two tweets basically is basically that so the Resurrection got leaked and it generated so much hype for the anniversary of Diablo 2 that we're going to get this Diablo 2 announcement that they were planning. People think they were maybe planning on announcing Immortal beta.
Oh, and they didn't do it.
They didn't because they felt that the backlash would be too high because people were wanting Diablo 2 resurrected.
Yeah, that's a good play in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think
if that was the actual thing. That was
if listen, Blizzard, if you actually did that and you canceled the announcement because of D2's anniversary, good job. That would have been horrible.
Right.
People would have been like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like twice now,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a super good move. So
yeah,
that's a great theory, man. And that would explain if we get it this month. If we get it this month, I think that's probably pretty likely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, I'm ready. Like,
I should
honestly,
say get it this month if beta launches this month.
Right. I'm ready to test this thing out. Right. Like we've been talking about it for years. I still haven't got to see the Necro. We don't know anything about the Necro.
I'm gonna start streaming on my iPad. Kick my feet up on my desk.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, "Yo, Fluff, grab your phone, dude. Let's do this."
I can't wait for Lindsay to accidentally send me like a photo while I'm playing the game or something. Like get me banned from Twitch. Get DMs.
Right. Does this look like a lump? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
What could be better? Right. Now I honestly have BlueStacks like installed, ready to go. Hopefully it'll be like playable on that thing immediately, but you never know.
Yeah, and then maybe you could with BlueStacks you can find some keys too, right?
Yeah, I think you could plug in like a controller, which would be good.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I haven't used BlueStacks in years, but
I've never used it. I just know it's the
really,
thing. Because, like, you know, I made that Diablo Immortal video, and some people are like, why don't you just use BlueStacks?
yeah, it's interesting. I've used it before, so
Good.
a lot of mobile games though are smart enough to recognize it and like stop working properly. So,
Yeah. But yeah. So all that was
that's
pretty
kind of all the
interesting.
Diablo juice
It was
that
kind
we
of all the
had.
Diablo juice.
It's been a fun season launch, man. I like again, just this season goes to show that like the launch week is still such a blast. Launch weekend is still such a blast. So it sucked. It was on a holiday. I can't wait to actually get a launch where we're both going to play, without a thing that's like, oh, I got to log early, or like, oh,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm traveling. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It'll be fun. Put in
Yeah.
a good 20
I'm
hours.
liking the season so far too. We're keeping rank 1 pretty easy at this point. Because we're the best there ever was. So liking having a good time. But it is a matter of time. Like I'm fortunate enough to be on a board currently right now that I don't see anyone with 24-hour uptime yet. So, thank goodness for that. But yeah, as soon as that happens, I'm telling you right now, a little piece of me is gonna die. When I see someone that beats me on the boards and they've got like 96 hours, I'm like, God damn
listen, we got new CMs, we got new people. Like maybe there's some resources that these CMs or some of these guys can go in and just look at that shit and just be like, okay, you want to push rank 1 with 100% uptime over the last week? Like, peace out, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be great.
Get them. Like 95 out of 96 hours.
1 hour of downtime. Come on.
Think about it for a second. 95 out of 96 hours. So this guy has not played for 1 hour in 90.
And some of these guys are in a guild called ROS Bot. Like, how do you not just delete these guys from the game? Anyways.
Yeah.
We could talk all day about that.
Listen, the military called. They want to know your secrets on how you can function with no sleep. They're willing to pay you billions of dollars. You should contact them.
That's what you should DM them when you think that they're botting. And if they don't reply, weird.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it's early in the season. We did have a ban wave before the season started. I hope that we can get another one in the next week or two. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Blizzard, if you need help, I'm sure I can get some people together to do some hour calculations.
Yeah.
Right.
But in other news, Pee-wee did get that update that we were talking about last week. It's still overall like it seems Harvest is like more controversial than I kind of expected it to be. I kind of expected like people to get these crazy crafts, which they are definitely getting now. Like people are getting like, double influenced items with crazy mods. I should bring up one. Gosh, what's his name? I think I liked it or something. But holy crap, the boots. What's that guy's name? Shoot, can't remember it. But here it is, right there. These freaking boots. Look at these. Like I know you don't know a ton about but it's actually so you got T1 movement speed, 35% movement speed. You got the top T1 gain elusive on crit, 10% chance to gain elusive on crit. You got T1 life at the top range, 89. It's got an abyssal socket, which he just crafted on there so he can get more damage out of his boots. A T1 lightning res roll at the top of its max, and then tailwind if you've crit recently. Like these things are insane, like actually insane. And so like harvest crafting is obviously super duper good. So it's like it seems like the feedback has been like noobs like it, like you loved it because it was like while you're leveling you get juice, and like that's been a big factor. I've heard that reiterated time and time again.
And I also think for a new player it's explained in a method that makes sense to you. Like you can follow along. Like you go in and you're like, what's going on? And then as you progress, it opens up more things. And you're like, oh, this makes sense. Whereas normal crafting is like, do what now? Where do they tell me about that in game?
It's crazy. And But then like the other side is like those players that are crazy elite, I guess. Like some of them are complaining that it's like maybe too easy. I don't really know. But yeah, I've been surprised how much an uproar, more than usual, right? Like Reddit's usually like a pretty toxic place, but it seems like the PoE Reddit has been a bit more uneasy these past few weeks about Harvest for some reason.
I will say I really hate how it breaks up the flow of the game, though. Like that's by far at least my biggest complaint. Is just like I don't want to do it right now, and I never want to. Like I always want the loot, but I never want to go mess with the garden.
Yeah,
I'm just like, can I just get my stuff? Like I don't. I'd rather kill monsters in maps or delve or whatever to get the loot. It's just more fun to me. But I see it though. I understand why it's cool, and I get it, and it is cool.
But I think that's also at the same time, like to give perspective. I think it's because you haven't played a lot. And
yeah, and I want to do those things,
right?
So people who have done delving for whatever
just
a year now or 2 years, they're like, I don't fucking want to delve ever again in my life, So,
but yeah, and so they also fixed, quote unquote, they fixed cluster jewels. So they roll the sockets as an implicit now, so like they're supposed to be a little bit easier to roll on now. I spent like 500 alts off stream to try to get like a decent one, and I couldn't hit it still. So it seems like they're still crazy hard to craft on in SSF, which really sucks. One of my biggest complaints with PoE is they're constantly shifting the game to be just better for Trade League and like make things more rare and stuff like that. But obviously that impacts SSF really hard. I'd love to see them kind of like branch SSF off, but
yeah, they could affect drop rates in both leagues too. I would think. Hey, if you're SSF, then it's a 10% chance, and if you're Trade League, it's 1. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That would encourage you to have to trade in Trade League. I mean, it is Trade League though, so I don't have answers for that, but I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what makes SSF though. Is because you can't trade him. That's the point, right?
But at the same time, like, so cluster jewels they're definitely build defining, but they're not like, wow, I got cluster jewels, I can kill Awakener 8 now. It's like it's just a way to customize your character versus like something that makes you incredibly strong. Gotcha. So the fact that you can't like roll them this feels really bad. It just ends up feeling really bad. And it's the same thing, like you want to, like, there's no way to focus farm uniques, which is fine to an extent, but like to limit the amount of builds you can play just because like there's literally no, like even if it was the most inefficient thing you could possibly do, if you could get a guarantee that you're going to get X unique, like the game would be so much better because even like if you're playing SSF or even if you're not playing SSF, if you get like just wasted a whole bunch of time, but you're guaranteed to get that one thing that you just want to make a build around, I think the game would just greatly improve. But I'm not the only person.
I think targeting loot is a thing that is good for games. Even if it's obviously got to be less efficient to target a piece of loot.
Yeah.
But having a way to do it is a good thing. And Diablo 3, for example, put theirs in there. Like you can re-roll things at Kadala. You know what I mean? Try to get your primals. You want to target primals? That's cool. You can do bounties, which suck all day, every day, and re-roll. And eventually you can target that primal, So not the best system ever, but it's a system. So yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. But that's really kind of the only thing new. That they're still making performance increases and stuff like that. One person came at me kind of this week about like, oh, I think you're too kind on PoE. Like the performance or the performance problems they had this league were just ridiculous. Like Diablo would never do that. And I'm like, Diablo, you still lag in a 4-man over 120 like since the dawn of time. So like, it's crazy to me when people are like, "Oh, Diablo would never do this." Of course,
we broke Diablo back in season 7,
right?
Like I remember season 7, 6 or 7. There was a witch doctor poison darts, like a little minion poison dart build. And when you grouped a bunch of trash up and all your minions started firing poison darts, you would literally break the server.
Yeah.
Like we sat there one day just to see if it would ever fix. It was like 30 minutes, and then it was like, nope, it's never coming back from this. Yeah, I mean that was what, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like they fixed things. Like you could probably do that level of rift these days and get away with it, but
Totally.
I haven't had, like, maybe it's because I'm not as fast or as good as other people in PoE, being a brand new PoE player, but I didn't have any performance issues with PoE. Like,
Yeah.
I crashed once.
Yeah.
Like one time I was in a map and it just crashed. Other than that, it's been fine.
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth. I will say, like, with Vulcan, for some reason, when I first load the game, like, I would say 75, like, load the game for the first time for that day, 75% of the time, I'll load the game and immediately crash. And I just, like, have to reboot. Like, I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
It's very specific to this league. But it's kind of like, just, like, gotta click again, right? Like, it's not a huge deal, but it's just like, God damn it.
It did suck to get booted out of the middle of a map, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think I was able to go back into it or something. I don't remember.
There's nothing worse in PoE. I don't know if this has happened to you yet, but like you'll be in a map, you'll be doing a map, and then you'll get failed to join instance, and so like you're just kicked out of your rift basically, and you can't get back in.
Yeah, no, I haven't had that happen
yet.
that
so much.
Yeah.
I finally did on non-season basically PoE. I did a, fully deliriumed T16 influenced map with like Elder mod on it. Like it was insanely juiced up, and I didn't pick up anything because I was like, I'm just gonna kill everything. And it took me like half an hour because these mobs have like tons, millions, billions, trillions of health. Yeah, it's kind of like pushing a leaderboard in Diablo, really. And I finally like killed the Guardian dude, and the game crashed and I couldn't get back into the rift. I was like, all that shit that dropped on the ground. Yeah, that was so bad.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
I could see something like that happening. That's kind of, I mean, it's the same with. I had people complain about Diablo 3 though, like, somebody was like, I'm just got DC'd fighting the Rift Guardian in their push, and they had the clear. I don't remember what it was, 115, 16, 17, something like that. And they're like, oh, I was on the Rift Guardian, I had minutes left, like, game crashed.
Yeah,
it happens in everything.
Yeah, that sucks.
I had it happen in WoW even. Like we were doing some Mythic 15s, and on the final boss had time left, and I just got random DC'd. Stream was fine. Stream stayed up. Everything else was fine. Just got random DC'd from WoW, and then it cost us the timer. So it sucks.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yep. I still don't know. On side news, the hell did Doc do? How is there no info on this?
Still nothing, man. That leads me to believe that, like, that one theory that we're talking about last week, where it's just like he was maybe trying to get money, or like trying to corral other people to like maybe make his own deal sweeter to like go to something new. It just kind of makes me think that that's what it is, more so than anything.
I mean, I don't know, man. There's like so many rumors. There's rumors that he did something with Alinity, like Alinities.
Alinity?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
that's rock bottom.
She's not horrible on the eyes, but she's kind of three-head. So
Two-head.
I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to like. I'm genuinely curious. You know what's funny? So a lot of you guys already know my internet has been like garbage for the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Every single stream, it's disconnecting me like every night. So I finally had Charter come out, and I complained enough, had enough times. I got the big boys to come out, and so these guys are coming in and they're rewiring my entire house. They're like, we're gonna fix this. But the guy walks into my stream room, and like my stream room's legit, and he walks in and he's like, oh damn, this is sick. Like, what do you and he's like, man, what happened to Doc? He starts talking to me about it. So it's cool. Like, it's cool that I was like, oh, are you a gamer? And he's like, oh, not a lot. He's like, what do you stream? And I'm like, Diablo. And he's like, oh, no shit, man. He's like, I haven't played Diablo in a couple of years, but I played Diablo 3 back in, like, when was that? Like 2011? And I was like, yeah, pretty close. I was like, it came out in 12. And so it was pretty cool to actually bump into people. And he's like excited, like, oh, how about Diablo 4? And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, when's that gonna come out? And I'm like, I don't know, a couple of years probably. He's like, really that long? But it was
Right.
just funny,
Yeah. I
to
had
get into the stuff.
acquaintances reach out to me. They're like, what happened to the doc? I was like, I didn't even know you watch Twitch. Like,
Yeah, right.
do you have Prime? Like, I was like, what do
Do
you
you have
mean?
Prime? Yeah, you
Like,
know what's fucked up? I don't even think my brother gives me his Prime. Like, what is that?
what the
Like,
fuck?
what is that? He's just like too lazy to come use it. I'm just like,
Damn.
dude, you got Twitch Prime, right? I was like, yeah. I was like, make a Twitch account and give me your fucking sub. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it eventually. It's been like 2.5 years, bud.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Yeah. I'm trying to get my sister's got Prime. I was like, I know you got Prime. Like, and she just couldn't figure out how to do it. And I was like, I don't feel like walking through it. So, oh well.
It's funny.
But yeah, Fluff.
That's kind of it in the ARPG.
What do you got?
Oh, you got some hates?
ThaPChild loves. You got one?
Oh man,
I think we are going to agree on my hates. I think we're going to agree on my hates this week.
Okay. Okay. What do you got?
Okay. Fluff hates this week.
Okay.
Super topical, by the way. What the hell were they thinking when they called it Gears of Dreadlands?
Oh my god. Yeah.
The fact that the acronym for this new DH set is God.
God. Like I call it
stupid.
Gears. Like I'm giving in and I'm starting to call it God because that's what everybody calls it. And I'm afraid if I say Gears, people aren't going to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why? Yeah. So bad. So bad. Because it makes you think like, oh, this guy thinks he's naming his build God build. Like, really? Get off your high horse, man. Your build's not that good. And then,
like,
you're like, you put it it's actually the acronym set.
Yeah. So
dumb. I mean, it better be good. What if it was the God set and it came out like Hydra set,
Yeah.
It's like
it's just such an unfortunate acronym. There's no way they didn't know that was gonna happen, right? Like,
I hope. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been like COVID somehow, with the mask and the whole setup. What do you think? Do you think Corona influenced the design of this set?
No,
because it does look like he has a mask on, like a Corona mask. He's got like a face mask.
Yeah, but I think that'd be like maybe like socially not acceptable to do that. So I think that they would shy away from that.
I think it was just coincidence that DH has a mask on.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like to me. It reminds me more of like a tinkering kind of thing than like a mask.
I don't know.
And it's like
it looks
gears,
like a gas mask
right?
to me. It looks like a gas mask to me.
It's like a gnome from World of Warcraft made the set or something.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me of.
I can see that. You want to hit some Twitter questions?
Do you have ThaPChild loves?
No. Let me think. I don't really have. I didn't think about it this week.
There was someone that was really upset with you for naming the show last week. It was
really?
Like, know your show, like know the background of the show. It's like you're just saying a show that he likes out loud. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't even see it. They were mad because I didn't know the name of it.
They mad because you didn't know something. Like maybe it's based on a book or whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, I just watched the show. The show was coincidence, actually. My mom was like, "Let's watch this." I was hanging out with my mom, and she was like, "You want to watch a TV show?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "What do you got?" And so she's a Amazon Prime member again. Mom, why don't you sub to me on Twitch Prime? I don't understand. So she's like, "I got Amazon Prime," and she throws it on, and we're just flipping through, and I'm like, "What's that?" And we both saw it and read the thing, and we're like, "That looks good." And boom, hooked on it, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's that easy. But
I don't know. I'll try to. Like, how was your fourth?
My fourth was good, man. I went out there and I had my little samurai pony that people seem to love. My hair is super long, man. I guess that's my loves. I love my Corona hair. So
that's my hair. It's so weird.
Is it? Yeah, man. I haven't really had like an actual cut on the top. I mean, I've shaved the sides, but that's easy to do. But the top of my hair is now. It started off like above my eyebrows, and now it's like almost goes to my mouth. So I can put it up in ponytails now, but it gets in my eyes, it gets in my face, and it's super obnoxious. So I've learned the easiest way to deal with that is to put it up in like a little man bun. Right. And people either love it or hate it. pretty much don't care. It's not a style thing to me. It's
Yeah.
like a get it out of my
It was
face,
just
you
so
know?
striking because it's
Yeah.
like I
People are like,
seen
he
you
actually has
outside of
hair.
it.
Like,
Right, right.
yeah, I always have my head on like, oh, you're not
Yeah.
bald. I just assumed you were bald. You always were. No, like I have a lot of hair actually. So, um, yeah, that's my thing. I love Corona hair. There you go.
Mhm.
So yeah, Fourth was good though, man. I went out to where I grew up at. I grew up in the country. I'm talking like, miles and miles down a gravel road. So, it's pretty cool. Like they take care of the place. It looks kind of like a park almost. So it's, flowers and cut grass and all that kind of stuff. It was a good
Sure.
time.
Cool.
How about you? What'd you do? I mean, you played Diablo all
Played
day, and
Diablo,
then
yeah. That was pretty much it.
did you get to go watch fireworks? Did you log
Not
off for some
really.
fireworks?
We went to my neighbor's house and just like had dinner, desserts. And
Hmm.
their dog is like crazy afraid of fireworks, so we didn't really like
Yeah,
go
man.
outside.
I think most are.
We had
But
like it was a war zone. It was pretty insane. I was surprised by the sheer amount of fireworks that were going off in my neighborhood. Like honestly, we stepped outside and it was like 1 a.m. Like and it hadn't been going off for hours, and it was just like haze, like a haze of like
yeah,
smoke.
we shot some off at my mom's house, and I bought this one thing. I don't even know what it was called. This thing was basically could have been like a tactical blind flashbang,
Mm.
because that's all it did was it strobed super fast, and it was the brightest light I've ever seen. Like I looked away, I was like, "Oh my god, sorry guys, like that's horrible. Don't ever do that." But we didn't see like any crazy. But I got home. I'm driving home, 4th of July. Like I hung out at my mom's. It's almost midnight, and I'm driving home, pulling down my street, and then there's like something in the middle of the street just on fire. I'm like, what? I pull up in my driveway and I get out. It's like 3 houses down, and there's just a fire in the middle of the street. Nobody's out there. There's like nobody in sight. Just this
What?
blazing fireball sitting in the middle of the street.
Weird.
And so I don't know what it is, man. It looked like maybe somebody had like this huge box firework thing that they set off, and it just, that was like the remnants, and it was just smoldering like on fire. I don't know, but nobody was out there. And so I washed out my window for like every about 5 or 10 minutes. I go take a peek and just like, is this thing out yet? And like, nope, still on fire. And so eventually, after like an hour, I'm like, should I call the fire department? Because nobody's claiming this shit, right? It's just in the middle of the street on fire. And, my wife's like, "Yeah, I don't know." I was like, "I don't really wanna go to bed with that shit still burning." And so it finally went out, and I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay, cool." Next morning, still there. So one of my neighbors is an asshole. I don't know which one, but he's like, "Oh, it's fine. Just let it burn out in the street." You know? So,
Nice.
let's hit up some Twitter questions, man.
Yeah.
The first one we got comes from Johnson Light 02. By the way, if you guys wanna submit Twitter questions, hit us up on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, not Twitch, Discords. Our Discords all have an Ask the Meta section, and then Twitter's also a good place. Johnson Light says, with the recent passing of Reckful, what is your take on dealing with toxicity, harassment on Twitch and social platforms? What can we do going forward to mitigate the damage done to your mental fortitude? This is the thing. So if people don't know, Reckful was like one of the earliest content creators I personally remember. At being a really big World of Warcraft fan, I remember watching Reckful videos, God, probably as early as vanilla. He was always a rogue in my mind. He was like one of the best rogue players I've ever seen play, and probably one of the best skilled PvP players. Like, I think a lot of people agree, like one of the best ever. But he committed suicide um, last week. I don't remember exactly which day it was, but kind of messed up situation, man. And I think a lot of people were kind of struck out of the blue. People had just talked to him. He had just posted some shit on Twitter, and then you know took his own life. So it's kind of messed up, man. So did you hear about this? Do you have thoughts on this, or the harassment things and how?
Yeah, I mean, I have thoughts that it haven't really changed. I don't, I was never really into WoW that hard,
Mhm.
so I didn't really know Reckful. I think was he banned from Twitch? Was that right?
He was.
Or
I don't know if he got banned from. Well, he used to be on Twitch. I don't know if he got banned from Twitch. He did get banned from WoW
he
for a
got banned
while.
from
If
WoW?
I
I remember that.
Yeah, because he was like account recoveries or something.
I mean, this is something I've kind of always said. you know, being a Twitch streamer, if you're already kind of prone to, you know, like self-doubt or have any kind of issues with depression or any kind of like, you know, mental predisposition, you know, I would strongly advise against streaming, because you kind of put yourself in such like a vulnerable place. And if you're already prone to like, you know, really caring about like what chat is saying, like if you don't have like a spine of steel, then it's just, I think it's dangerous. And I think it's, you know, it's not a good ecosystem for mental health.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin if you're
Yeah.
going to be a streamer. I don't know. I don't know if that is part of it. It it's hard to see through their eyes to me, because there's nothing that people could say on the internet that would push me to that point.
Mhm.
But that's just me. Like, I don't,
Sure.
I don't have the same viewpoint on life that he does, obviously, or anybody that's suffering from those thoughts, or have the same upbringing either. You know what I mean? But as far as the harassment stuff goes, yeah, man, it makes me step back a little bit and think about, there are times where I'm probably not as nice to people as I could be. You know what I mean? For sure. Like, I know I poke fun at people, and like, an example is like, I'm pushing last night, and like, I don't have permanent uptime on Vengeance, because I just don't have the gear. It's like day 3 of the season, right? So I'm like,
Mhm.
5% short, which equates like a second of downtime, right? And somebody in my chat's like, why don't he's like, uh you never run without having maximum or full uptime. Or so basically they were like, how dare you not have full uptime? And I'm like, yeah, how dare I? It's only, and so, my response was like kind of sarcastic, like, dude, get the fuck out of here. It's the 3rd day of the season. You know what I mean? But you just never know like what that person's going through, and how they're taking stuff. So there's times where I
Yeah.
look at things and I could handle stuff better. Yeah. So I think stepping back, it does make me want to be like, yeah, man, maybe I should be nicer to people even when I feel like I shouldn't be,
Yeah.
So
And like, it's a catch-22 too, because we see the same thing happen with like, say, like Twitter. So say, you know, you post something about your own mental health on Twitter, and you know there will be those posts that are going to support you, and maybe that's like a good feeling. I still hesitate towards, you know, if you're doing that for a good feeling, it's probably bad, but like you're also going to get all that negativity, and it's obviously something that you're already struggling with. So yeah, social media, Twitch, Reddit, I feel like it's this dangerous territory if it's something you're struggling with. I would, you know, highly advise against it, but
I feel like a lot of people post stuff like that just to get likes.
True.
It's like, I need likes, man. Let me post that, maybe, and I'm sure they are struggling, but they're like, let me post about my struggles on Twitter just so people will tell me how I'm awesome, and maybe they need to hear it. I just feel like if that's what you're doing, like, you probably need like some real help. Like, and I don't mean that in like a negative way. It's like, you know, talk to people, talk to some psychiatrists, get some help, man. It
Mhm.
really helps from, it helps people out. So
Yeah. It was
do it.
pretty interesting to see the debate spark. Did you see the debate between like Keemstar and Asmongold?
I didn't see that
Okay.
one. No, I did see like, I saw like Ninja's wife and XQC
XQC.
like going at each other, and like Alinity chimed in and Ninja went at her, and then Keemstar went at Alinity, and it just became this big like, whoa. But they all apologized to each other after the Reckful thing. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
They were like, sorry, dude. Oh, well, Keemstar didn't, because,
He's fucking
like,
crazy. Yeah.
because he doesn't give a fuck, or like literally goes at Alinity 24/7.
Right.
Um, but Ninja did. Ninja was like, oh, my bad.
Sure.
You know. Um,
Yeah. Crazy.
but no, I didn't. So how did the Asmon thing play
Well,
out?
yeah. So XQC, like someone clipped XQC saying like, well, you know, sometimes when these streamers like
Oh, I did see this. Yeah.
will stream and for a charity, and they get paid by the charity because, you know, it ends up raising more money than you cost to, you know, buy the streamer basically.
Right.
And so that was the only clip, and then Livestream Fails posted it, and then so people went after anyone that was basically charity streaming, which, because it's, you know, Reddit culture. And they're like, oh, you're getting paid to do this and blah blah, and even if they're not, right, like it just became a thing. And so basically, Asmongold was bringing up how, basically because the clip was clipped out of context, where XQC would go on to say, like, not necessarily the case all the time, obviously, that it was, it's spreading a false narrative. And of course, Keemstar had something to say about it because he always has something to say. But it was pretty interesting. Asmongold, like you said last week, I mean, he can be pretty good at arguing his point. He's articulate sometimes. So
yeah, he really even if he's wrong,
he's thoughtful.
He really does do a good job of arguing his point and making you understand his logic behind it. And so it's easy for me, even when I don't agree with him, I can be like, I understand why you think that way. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good characteristic to have in somebody that debates against you or to talk with, because if their point doesn't match yours, they can help you at least understand why they feel that way.
Yeah.
And so he's interesting. Like I like him, man. He gets a lot of shit from people, but I actually enjoy him a little bit. And on that topic, it was pretty funny because so XQC's clip, I think, was taken out of context. I saw the whole thing. So I saw that clip and then I went back and watched the whole thing. And I saw it because Dr. Lupo had posted on it. And, Lupo's obviously huge and does a lot of charity stuff. And he's like, I've never got paid. And that's what started the whole XQC and Ninja's wife shit, because Lupo posted something and then Ninja's wife posted like XQC is an idiot or some shit like that. And then XQC starts going in at her. But what's funny is then Twitter got in on her, and Twitter's like, oh, you've never heard of anybody ever getting paid for doing a charity? And then they throw a clip of Ninja from like 2.5 years ago getting paid to do a charity. It's like, oh, I guess you didn't realize your husband just got paid from these guys a couple years back, right? You know what I mean? So it's just funny, man. And like, even if it's true or not true, I don't know. But it's like internet doesn't forget shit. Like, once it's out there, it's out there. So, it was I will say my wife watches a lot of reality TV shows, and like it's always drama based, like whatever show it is, it's always about people just, drama. I get into the Twitch drama. Like I follow it. Like when I see Ninja going at it with XQC, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, who's gonna say what next? Like it's interesting to me, even though it's as much, that's like my guilty pleasure, I guess now, is to watch these guys just be idiots. But
what a weird situation to be in though. Like put yourself in his shoes for a second. So your wife is your manager.
You got a simp, dude.
And historically, a manager's job is to keep their fucking mouth shut all the time.
Yeah.
But it's your wife.
Your manager is the one that's like, please shut the fuck up. Like, no.
Like I wonder if, I'm sure they've argued at some point in their careers.
I'm sure that he's probably gone up to her and be like, why did you post that? Like, and then as he's saying that, he's like, yeah, fuck you. Like backing her up because you have to back her up. Like that's your wife, man. You have to always go to bat for her. Even if she's wrong, you're still like, I'm going to go to bat for my wife. I don't care. You know what I mean? If she gets on and she's like, I've seen instances where I've told my wife, like, it's good. I got it. Like, but back, like she's trying to go to bat for me before. And I've been like, I understand you're just going to cause more trouble than you're going to create good. And like, you're coming from a good spot, but please don't, like, you know what I mean? So,
that's like, you bring up a good thing, and I'll talk about it now because like, it's not as big of a deal, I feel like, anymore, but you were there, I think, like when we went to BlizzCon 2018.
That's one of the things I was thinking about. I just didn't want to, know.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. And so like, I was just constantly kind of getting the cold shoulder, much similar to 2019. And so Lindsay made this like, kind of a long tweet about like, it sucks to see.
It was obvious. So to throw it, to like put context, because it's hard to give context, but like you and I, this is our first BlizzCon and we go together, and guilt by association for me, I think too, is because we were hanging out and we're boys and we're having a good time, but we were given the cold shoulder, and it was super obvious to us, and like we could see it. Like we were like, it wasn't like this. Like I think like it was pretty clear. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
And so, yeah, and, you know, I'd reach out and just get shut down and stuff like that. But, you know, and then Lindsay tweeted out, like, it sucks to see, like, your significant other work as hard as they do and just, like, be kind of completely just, you know, shunned or disrespected, basically, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I ended up telling her she just should take it down because I didn't feel like that was going to cause me any more good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
or stir up any kind of drama with Brandy and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, going to bat for you,
yeah.
but you didn't. But it, you know, going to bat for you, but ultimately it doesn't help you. You know what I mean? Like it just hurts. So, but I feel it though. Like I've had the same situations with my wife too. I've just been like, you know, it's good, like, it's cool.
Right.
It you know, it'll come around.
Sure.
So it'll come around. But yeah, that's a super derail from the original question.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think you know, I think mental issues, mental, I don't even know the wording to use, but um there's more and more recognition of it. I feel like every year that goes by, and it starts to become not as like of a bad thing. Like, oh, you're really like you're depressed, you baby, get over it. Like, I think that attitude's kind of going away, and it's becoming more like, oh, you're depressed, shit, man, let's get you some help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not because I think like my parents' generation is like, suck it up, Buttercup. You know what I mean?
Totally. My
Like if I
generation,
went,
I'd say our generation is still like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like if I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm kind of depressed. My
Yeah.
dad would have been like,
Shut the
you
fuck
fucking kidding me? Get outside and go cut some
You
wood.
got a
Go
roof over
cut
your
the
head.
grass.
There's kids
Yeah, like
starving in Africa. What's your
back in
problem?
my day, I walked for 50 miles to get to school. You know what I mean? So, and I think now it's becoming a little bit better where people are like, oh, really? Like, what's going on? Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can get you some help. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I've even heard my boss at my job say that. I've heard him be like, you know, so
Really?
and so, so and so is, you know, we had a guy who, um, I think his cousin died or something, and he missed a couple weeks. Like he took off a couple weeks, and then at that towards the end, my boss is like, "Dude, suck it up." You know what I mean? Like, and I just remember hearing him say that and just being like, you know, it's just different generation, man. You know,
Crazy.
so yeah. Demonic Grizz says, "What was your first reaction to entering D2's cow level for the first time?"
I remember doing it very late. Like I'd been playing forever and like had good gear and stuff. And I remember like I don't even remember how I found out about it. But I was just like, oh wow, like I've been playing this game for like years, like literally years before I even found out that a cow level was a thing.
Yeah, I don't even remember it. I don't even know if I went into D2's cow level. Like I played through the campaign like maybe twice, so probably didn't even know about it. I do remember the first time in D3 getting to the cow level and being like, "Oh, this is cool." I was the first time I got a rainbow level and a cow level. I was kind of like, "Really? This is not. It doesn't fit the theme of the game. It's like an Easter egg, I guess." But I remember being like, "Oh, this is kind of different." Like
Yeah.
I
I didn't
wasn't a
really
huge
get it
fan.
until, you
You
know, we
know?
had David Brevik on and he told the story of how
Yeah.
like someone debated someone on the internet to click a cow from Diablo 1 like 1,300 times
Yeah. Right.
to spawn a cow level and it didn't actually exist. And so like Diablo 2, they made it a meme. I thought it was pretty cute. So
I don't know if we talked about this or not during that segment, but that reminded me when David told the story. Um, Nintendo Power put a magazine out in April of whatever year that there was God, was it to play Simon Belmont in Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game or some shit? I don't remember. But it was a totally fake thing, and they, you know, photoshopped a picture and put him in there. But to do it, you had to like press the power button, power cycle your Nintendo 5 times, then hold the reset button, and then like on controller, like this long elaborate shit you had to do to get, you know, Simon Belmont, the Castlevania guy inside Turtles. And I tried that shit for fucking days. I'm sitting there like breaking my fucking Nintendo, hitting the power button. And then the next month they put a thing like, April Fools, ha ha ha. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
wow.
Like I was so mad. I'm like, guys, you know, I reset my Nintendo. I was like, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old or whatever. And I, you know, my parents were cool enough to give me a subscription to Nintendo Power. But yeah, man. Hate those guys still. Eddie says, I agree with your comments last podcast that the new set should have been one per season. Do you think they rushed them too much, which is why Wiz, Necro, and Barb are a little underwhelming?
Yeah, probably. It's kind of a weird situation to be in too, I think, because, obviously you don't want to only have, I feel like they feel like if there's only one new set, per season, then maybe that's not enough content, or maybe the dates don't line up, and like having a new set get released this time next year just doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I do think that the quality kind of suffered on a few of them. Specifically the ones that jump out are obviously Necro, Wizard, and Barb. I think could use just a little bit more min-maxing. Another week of PTR at least, probably. I was surprised, when DH got that kind of second wave of changes, that Necro 2 also didn't get those changes. It's kind of like, yep, like it's good. So I'm not of the opinion, though, that we won't. I think if we've heard some rumors, full disclosure, we've heard some rumors that, next season could be a balance patch, and we haven't had a balance patch season since season 12, which to me, I think, and to you agreed as well, is one of the maybe the best seasons I can remember.
Yeah, there's so many new things to play. Right. It's just like the whole, because you can do that 2-week cycle of on a new character every 2 weeks. You're like, oh, I'm gonna try this now. Try that. It's a good time. It also gives them a chance to reset too. Yeah. Because power creep is just fucking crazy right now. Yeah. It's crazy. So speeding 100s in the first 8 hours you're playing the season just feels wrong to me. I would honestly like them to get rid of Hadrig's gift.
I honestly yeah, I agree, but at the same time, for those of us that are like hardcore, like we're still going to be into, GR90s day one and stuff like that. So I think the only person that hurts is the filthy casual.
Yeah, you think it takes away from their enjoyment of the season?
I think that the problem is, as a whole, that there's that jump when you hit your 6-piece. I think that is really where the problem lies, not necessarily the Hadrig's gift itself. Obviously, our progression would be slower a little bit, but not by a lot. Like, really, if you think it, like,
you don't think? I mean, lot is so fucking.
Didn't we do a season where like we skipped our Hadrig's gift because we're like,
last season I didn't even use it.
Yeah,
I
so it's like it didn't slow us down.
Because I just did Legacy of Dreams Necro though.
Yeah,
I was as soon as you get the gem, you're in T13s. You know what I mean? You can run mages with almost anything and get into 13s as soon as you get Legacy of Dreams.
Yeah.
So, I guess, man. I don't know. It's just. I feel like the coolest thing about a season reset is the progression, because you're starting your progression over, right? You're resetting your Paragon. You don't have your juicy items anymore. And I feel like when we're getting into it that fast, like we're hitting like, okay, I was in the point where I just needed ancient items within, not too long into our season, like 2 or 3 hours. I'm just like, okay, I got everything I need. I just need ancients now. And like, I don't know, man, that feels, I could be wrong. Maybe if I played a season where I didn't get that, I'd be like, man, this sucks. I really like getting my shit super fast. But that's how that's my feeling right now. It's like, man, that was so quick. We got it so quick.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I also think Season of Paragon Cap would ultimately be like phenomenal. But if we played it, maybe I'd be like, you know what? I thought Season of Paragon Cap would be amazing, and it kind of sucks. Like, I hit Paragon 2K the first couple days, and now, I'm grinding for primals because I already have ancients. So why do I care now at this point? Am I just grinding for primals? Like, I'm not getting Paragon, So
there's that aspect. I think it would be nice to like, okay, so you say it's 2K and we grind our faces off for the first 2 weeks. We get that 2K cap, and then we're full ancient. Maybe we get some 150 Augs or something like that. But we could literally like walk away for like a month and then still come back and like still have a chance to like keep our rank 1. Whereas like now, like you take off 3 days, you're out of the
run.
run.
Off one day.
Yeah. Like,
right.
you're done.
You go to
So
apparently if you take a shit or go get something to eat, you're out of the
yeah,
running because you know what I mean? Like you literally can't even go to the bathroom. You have to do 95 or 96 hours,
yeah,
you know.
all legit. Wink,
So,
wink. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
Um,
man.
yeah, you're totally right. Like, here's the thing, right? Is like even if you're against the Paragon cap, like as an ideal, as a seasonal theme, like they just need to try it once. Like at the end of the day, if you're for it or you're against it, like there's no harm in just trying it and
Trying it.
seeing
Yeah.
if it's good or bad. Like there's
I think
no
it would
harm in
be
trying.
I think it would be a pretty cool step for Blizzard because it would be like I really feel like there's a majority, that should be next week's podcast question. We should ask that.
Mm.
Like, would you be in favor of a 2K Paragon? Because I'm interested to see how the community feels versus just our opinions. Because a lot of times some of our polls people don't agree with us, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's really crazy to me because but I feel like the community would be okay with it, like they want it, and I think it would be kind of a risky thing for Blizzard because it's not a huge theme. It's not like this awesome gameplay mechanic being introduced or anything. It's literally just saying like, okay, boom, we're gonna put a cap on it, and it's almost addressing botting in a sense too, because it's almost like saying, listen, we can't stop botting, but if we do this, it will prevent it from being as influential. I mean, they can still farm 1 billion rifts, to get that perfect god rift, but at least it helps some, you know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We'll have to see. Um, the next question comes from Skyman the Great, and he says, would either P or Fluff be interested in trying 6-man party in PoE? Seems chaotic and fun. I've only grouped with Fluff once. Other than that, I've never grouped with anybody in PoE.
I've definitely never grouped with more than one person in PoE. I've seen it. Like I've seen like I think Empyrean is a streamer. He's like always in a group, and they're always like min maxing group play, and they get like multiple headhunters. Like maybe even a day sometimes. Um, I, it just looks. I mean, I don't know how to candy coat this, but it just looks dumb. Uh,
Yeah, I don't. PoE doesn't feel like a game to me that would be like super multiplayer. It just doesn't have. I don't even know how to put my finger on it, but it's not. It doesn't scream. I want to play this with somebody else. It just seems like I'm gonna play solo game. Whereas Diablo feels really good to play with other people, and I don't really know why that is. But I haven't tried it honestly, except Fluff, maybe it's the skill gap too. That could also maybe be a thing because in Diablo the skill gap's not as good. It's more of like, hey, if you put these pieces together and then you can just roll your face on the keyboard and you'll be okay. I don't think PoE works that way. So like Fluff's skill gap is so much higher than mine in PoE. It wouldn't be fun for me to play with him, and it wouldn't be fun for him to play with me because he's going to be constantly like, P, what are you doing? Why are you going so slow? You're looking at loot? No, that's garbage. Just throw it away. And I'm going to be like, God damn, Fluff, slow down. I don't know. Do I want this? Do I want that? Like, and just asking Fluff how to play the whole time.
right.
So I don't think it'd be fun for either of us. And I feel like that's probably the case for most people. And why PoE is such a solo game is because everybody's knowledge level, there's so much knowledge in the game and everybody's at a different level that you can play at your pace. And it doesn't matter, if you're playing in a group, you have to cater to the smartest and the dumbest, you know?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I don't know. It could be off with that. But no, PoE doesn't scream to be six. Maybe if I got good at the game, then I could be like, hey, Fluff, let's do some like big brain, like season meta 2-man start or some shit. I don't know. And with the talent trees that are in PoE and the gems and all that shit, like I would think you could probably do some sick support. Like if you made a dedicated support character, you could probably do some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So Onion says, which of the 6 new sets were your favorite / least favorite? Munda Nugos was my favorite.
Yeah, I think Mandanugu was the biggest success. What are we thinking? So it's Paj, Mandanugu, Masquerade, God, Hydra, and Frenzy. And what's the last one?
Did you count Mondanugo as you started counting?
I think so. Oh well. Yeah, I think Mondanugo
Oh,
was.
God. Did you get
I
God?
just said God.
Oh.
Fist of Heavens. There you go. Oh, that's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think Fist of Heavens is my fave. If it would really just be the cherry on the top if they'd make it the Fires of Heaven from the sky instead of the stupid shotgun. But I think as far as speed farm builds from the new set goes, I do like the Fist of Heavens the most. But I think the most successful one is probably Mundanugu, followed by DH right now.
Yeah, DH is new. We'll see how it flavors out, how it lasts. Man, it's so I had a blast doing Mondanugo and 4-man. Being a trash clear on that set was absolutely phenomenal. It was so much fun. Pushing it solo, I didn't find as fun as the 4-man meta. But that being said, the 4-man meta on it was so much fun. Probably the most fun I've had in a long, long time playing Diablo. I liked it. I was super sad to see it get a little bit of nerf stick this season, although it's still really good. RGK Crusader with the new set was really good too. But I'm gonna say Witch Doctor, man, and it kills me to say that because I historically shit all over Witch Doctors. But that set was good. It was a good set, followed by Crusader. I think the Crusader set is actually. I agree with Fluff. But I actually like Shotgun. I'm okay with it. I think it'd be nice if they could make some variants of it that didn't have to have Shotgun. But yeah, those are good. You said that which is the most underwhelming. It is Hydra to me. It's not even close because I had high hopes for Hydra. Like Hydra, I was excited as fuck when I heard like it's gonna be Hydra. Oh shit! Like I was like, yes.
What's crazy to me is like
Hydra,
you know,
Necro too.
In my brain, I played a lot of Frenzy Barb in Diablo 2. And just to see how much that doesn't translate to good gameplay anymore, like at all. Like we've just evolved from that point. It's like Thorns, Thorns as a mechanic. It was fun in Diablo 2 when the game was like, 8 bits and it wasn't that much going on. But like it just doesn't stand the test of time. Same thing with Frenzy, just like, left clicking. It's not.
I think all the sets
fun.
that weren't the top in their class are underwhelming. Like you can't put a new set out and have it be second best. Like who cares, man? Hey, I have a Camaro, and Ferrari makes a new car, but it's not as fast as my Camaro. Why do I care? I don't care then. Get your Ferrari out of here. I'm going to keep driving my Camaro. It's a bad analogy, but it's like, and I don't own a Camaro, by the way. It's a bad analogy, but it's like, it's just silly. It's silly. It's a lost opportunity to me.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Where are we at? Seed says, and I'm paraphrasing this because this was like a couple paragraph thing. So hopefully I got all the points he wanted. But he says, how do you feel about fishing in endgame and Paragon in the endgame? If there are bad maps, how do you feel about just removing them or adding more density? So he kind of is focusing a lot on like endgame fishing in Diablo.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Historically when Blizzard had like I guess more bandwidth to work on Diablo 3, like I'm sure you remember there were a couple patches done that tried to balance that, so like caves got more density and stuff like that because it is a problem.
Mob types got rebalanced.
Yeah. XP for mobs got changed a couple times. Yeah, obviously if this is a game that got the amount of support that it needs, that would probably be a thing that was constantly shifting, so that all the maps would eventually be even. But yeah, it does kind of suck that obviously that fell off the the landscape for Diablo 3 as far as balance is concerned. So it does. Fishing, we've said it 100 times, fishing in general, at least how it's performed in Diablo 3, it breaks up that gameplay, right? You have to like, didn't get the map, I have to leave game, remake game. It's almost like Diablo 2. It's like playing Diablo 2. It's like, okay, go in the game, do the thing, get the heck out of there, remake game. Like it's just in a game that we're still playing in the year 2020, right? In the game we're playing in 2020, like we're still like making like a new lobby and stuff like that. It's just like it's such an outdated, terrible like kind of gameplay loop. So yeah.
Most of my in-game complaints come from a botting standpoint too. You know, Paragon supports botting. That's end-game farming. Fishing rifts is heavily like people always talk about Paragon when they talk about bots, but they don't talk about keys. If Fluff and I are competing on a leaderboard and Fluff has 10 keys and I have 1,000 keys, I'm gonna beat him because I can farm and farm and farm and get 5 elite conduit festering woods map. You know what I mean? And he's not, or unless he just hits super lucky. So keys matter. Farming better rolled gear matters. Like all those things. So you got to have it in the game, but I don't have an answer to how to eliminate fishing. I do think it kind of sucks. I would think maybe it'd be cool if there were items in the game, like an example, a primal key. Let's say you get a primal key, and once you consume that primal key, you can open up rifts as long as you want for 2 hours or whatever. So that way you're like, you know, Fluff's farming, he's speed farming. He gets his primal key drop, he throws it in his stash, and he's like, all right, when I decide to push in a couple days, for a couple hours at least I can spam some rifts. But then the botters are always going to have those too. So I don't know, man. I do wish that there was a way to minimize the end game as far as it comes towards botting, but you got to have some kind of randomness. Otherwise, what's the point? You know? So,
yeah.
But I would like to see map rotations. Like we've had the same. There are some really good maps in normal rifts that aren't in greater rifts. Like there's an Act 2, like an open desert style, like Zoltan Cool style map that's phenomenal in normal rifts. That's not in the greater rift pool.
Cemetery.
Throw that in there, man. Yeah, cemeteries. Oh my god, cemetery would be broken as hell in greater rifts. Yeah. But do it. Like let's see some of these maps, man. Let's get some rotations, some new things. And to add to that point, like we talked about this while we were leveling in the season start. Why that new map they put in that has the candles at the entrance and it's kind of open.
Yeah.
It always has no density. I don't remember the name of it. It always has no density.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
There's no density.
If I get that as my first map, I just leave game.
Is there a slider? Like, is there a way? Like, I don't understand why there's no density.
Is there a slider?
Like, is there a slider? Is there a multiplier?
Like an intern can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the next question comes from J Rod. He says, "What is the #1 best speed farming T16 build for Necro for season 21?" Goddamn, targeted question.
I mean,
#1.
Yeah. So you're not going to jump into Legacy of Dreams, but if we're saying Fluff, clone yourself as many speed farm builds as you've ever made and face off against yourself, then LOD Mages wins. Still.
Yeah.
But again, that takes a while to gear out. Ice Spear is going to be really good if you want to survive, but eventually they all become insane.
There you go. Hex says you have $7.99 to ruin your best friend's wedding. What's your strategy?
$7.99.
I got one. I got the strat. I mean, we talking like ruin? Are we talking like ruin his life ruin? Or are we talking like just, you know,
make it bad? I mean, like,
yeah, like ruin, like $7.99. I'm gonna go to Fiverr. I'm gonna hire some dude to Photoshop him in a compromising position with another woman. $7.99.
Oh,
done.
Man.
Done. Wedding fucking ruined. Right there. Yeah. $7.99.
Nice.
You don't got one?
I mean, no, it's like get an air horn for $7.99. That's like all I can think of on the spot. That would be really fucking annoying. Pay Holmes from Get a Streak. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a good one.
You know, yeah, there's a lot of inappropriate things you can think of. But and then the last question comes from Trent. This one is I almost didn't include it, but it was just I thought it was funny. In what situation is it okay to shit on the floor? I
Uh,
still think,
season
still think
start because you can't afford to walk away from the computer.
when you're 95 hours out of 96 in the season, it's okay to shit on the floor. Oh man, I don't know. You just start thinking about worst case scenarios, man. Like, in what situation would you be in, Fluff, if you saw somebody just drop it on the floor and you're like, I'm
Oh,
not
I
even
guess that's
mad.
okay.
I'm not even mad. Like, what situation you're like, I'm not even mad.
No idea.
Um, I don't know either,
Someone told me
dude.
Diablo 4 was coming out tomorrow, and then there's shit on the floor. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
you had to
I'm
wait.
really happy right now still. So
You have to wait in line for like 4 days to like get some beta access or something, I guess. I don't know, man. I still wouldn't be okay. I'd still be like, Fluff, you better hold it. Like, I don't care. You're not shitting for 4 days. You know. I don't know. Anyways, that's a pretty funny one, I felt. I don't have an answer, so
yeah,
none. There isn't one. So that's it, man. That's all the Twitter questions we had this week. If
easy.
you guys wanted to submit questions, you know where to hit us up at. If you want to hear the pre-show, you can check us out on Patreon. It's we record the pre-show audio, throw it up there so you can hear all the stuff Fluff talks about, all the people, all you
Yep.
guys. It's
A
on
bunch
there.
of trash.
It's live.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. If you want to catch more of me, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube's, all the places at ThaPChild.
Yeah. I'm Lord_Fluffy. Double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you boys next week. You ready for some metas, dude?
So, you want to do some edits? Sure.
Let's do it, man. All right.
All right.
Peace out.
All right. Later.